Welcome back. Interesting day, June 20th. First of all, happy birthday to my youngest granddaughter. And then for today's episode, we have a word to kick things off with, a notable figure, some technological advances, a verdict, a song, and a quote. So grab your favorite cuppa, settle in, and let's have a look. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for June 20th. June 20th is the 171st day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 172nd in leap years, with 194 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is amend. Amend is a verb that means to make changes to something in order to improve it or make it more accurate or fair. Often used in legal, political, or formal contexts, amend also appears in everyday use. Some examples might be, Congress voted to amend the Constitution, or she offered to amend her previous statement, or he tried to amend his behavior after realizing he had hurt her feelings. Along the line of that last example, amend may also be used as a noun in terms of making amends, where it means to repair, correct, or make right, for example, in terms of one's behavior. Amend comes to us from Middle English, Old French before that, Latin before that. First known use of the word amend is in the 1200s. Amend. And with that, on June 20th, 1819, a U.S. vessel called the SS Savannah arrived at Liverpool in the United Kingdom. This is significant because it was the first steam-propelled vessel to cross the Atlantic. That said, it did make most of the voyage under sail. It was an idea, all right, but the engine and its fuel took up a lot of space, and that space at the expense of room for cargo. Even though steamboats had been going up and down rivers for several years by this time, people were generally leery about steam-powered ocean vessels. Between that apprehension and some unrelated financial reverses of the Savannah's owners, this led to her being converted back to a sailing ship when she returned to the U.S. from this European trip. It would be almost 30 years before another American steamship would cross the Atlantic again. On June 20th, 1837, Victoria became Queen of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland at the tender age of 18. She was actually fifth in line of succession to the throne when she was born. One by one, those before her in that line of succession died, eventually making Victoria the heir presumptive, which means she's next. Since she was still underage when she became the heir presumptive, an act was passed to allow for her mother to act as regent until Victoria came of age, should King William IV die before Victoria turned 18. He had a tendency to avoid formality, King William IV did. This endeared him to his subjects. He seemed a lot more like a regular guy. He also said out loud that he wanted to live until Victoria's 18th birthday so a regency could be avoided. Kind of get the impression that he wasn't wild about Victoria's mother. Sure enough, Victoria turned 18 on May 24th, 1837, and then on June 20th, 1837, King William died of cardiac failure. He was 71 at the time of his passing, and Victoria became queen without having to do so under a regency. She had led a pretty sheltered life up to that time, but turned out to be a pretty decent monarch. Queen Victoria. June 20th has been a good day for communications in that Samuel Morse received his patent for the telegraph on June 20th, 1840, and Alexander Graham Bell installed the world's first commercial telephone service in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on June 20th, 1877. Lizzie Borden was acquitted for the murders of her father and stepmother on June 20th, 1893. The movie Jaws was released in the United States on June 20th, 1975. It went on to become the highest-grossing film of that time and started a trend of films known as summer blockbusters. Today's song is Chapel of Love by the Dixie Cups. Written by Jeff Barry, Ellie Greenwich, and Phil Spector, Chapel of Love was made famous by the Dixie Cups in 1964, spending 3 weeks on the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100. It's a story song from the point of view of someone on her wedding day, her happiness and excitement, and certainty that they will never be lonely anymore as she and her sweetheart are going to the Chapel of Love. Many other artists have recorded the song since then. Chapel of Love by the Dixie Cups. Link in the description. How about that? Now remember, we'll have reruns over the weekend, but I will add quotes to them. I'm usually pretty good about remembering to post the quote graphic in the Posts tab on my YouTube channel and also in several of the various socials that I'll mention in the outro. Today's quote is attributed to American poet and activist Maya Angelou, who said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better." Maya Angelou. Pretty straightforward. Alrighty, y'all take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoyed this series, you can check out the playlists in the description. You can find me on BitChute, Facebook, Odyssey, Rumble, YouTube, and X, as well as on a blog page called No Really. All those links are in the description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.